Hello class, welcome to today's lesson. We're going to be learning tennis. We're going to be going over the basics of tennis, which is stances and doing our forehand shots and backhand shots. But before we go into anything else, we got to go over safety. And right now we're in the tennis court, so we want to look for anything that's on the floor that could hurt us, roll our ankle, slip or anything. But right now the floor looks kind of clean, so it looks like we're ready to go. But before we get into actually playing or doing anything, we got to go into our warm-ups. So for our warm-ups, we want to do a full body warm-up. We want to stretch our legs, warm up our legs, stretch our arms, because tennis is a full body exercise, full body workout. You're gonna work out your whole body. So to begin our warm-up, we're gonna do a nice jog around the whole tennis court. And we have 2 tennis courts, so we're kind of lucky. Let's say you have just 1 tennis court, you could do 2 jogs around, 3 jogs, however you feel to warm yourself up, because you don't want to get injured. So we're going to do our jog, and we're going to do a nice little stretch. We're going to do some stretches. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to do our warm-up, we're going to do our jog, and we're going to do some nice little stretches. Now that we did our nice little jog, we got our blood flowing. Now we get into some stretches, dynamic stretches, static stretches. So for our first stretch, we want to stretch our legs. So I'm gonna do some high kicks from this line to the end of the court. Butt kicks back. Now we're gonna hip flexors, some hip rotations to open up our hips, get us nice and comfortable. Incorporate our upper body, so we're going to skip and then do arm over arms. When you're playing tennis, you want your shoulders nice and stretched, your elbows. We don't get no tennis elbows, no injuries around here. We're going to start doing our upper body. So for upper body, we're going to do our tricep stretches for about 15 seconds. Move on to arm circles, forward and backwards. About 15 seconds as well. We're not going to do anything too big. We're not going to be that intense, just something calm for our beginning. And then backwards. We want to stretch our forearms and wrists, so we're going to do some wrist whirls. The other way. Alright, and then we're going to grab our fingers and pull them back towards us so we can stretch our forearm. Do the other hand. And you can pull them down as well. I'll do the other hand. Then we'll push fingertip down, point it down, push it towards us. Before we get into learning how to hit our backhand shots, our forehand shots, we gotta learn how to stand. We gotta get in a ready stance in case we get a ball hit to us. We gotta be ready to go right or left, ready to hit it with the backhand or forehand. So you want to have like an athletic stance. You want to have your shoulder width apart, knees bent, and you want to be on the toes of your feet. So you're ready to move either left or right, forward or back. If you're on your heels, you're not ready to do anything. You're not ready to move. So being on the balls of your feet, you're nice and athletic. You want your racket in the middle of you. If you have it to your right, it's going to be more difficult to reach that way, to your left hand side. If you have it just on one side, more difficult to reach this side. So right in the middle, ready for the ball to be hit this way, that way, to run forward, or to run back. Give yourself some space to let the ball bounce, and you just hit it right back to where it came from. So now we're going to go over how to hit the ball forehand and backhand. So with the forehand hit, you want to grip the tennis racket, whatever feels comfortable, a little bit low, so that way in case you need to grab a two-hand and hit it with your hit the backhand. But so I advise keeping a strong wrist when you hit the tennis ball, because with the weak wrist the ball could hit and then you could let the racket hit back and it's going to hurt your wrist, and we don't want no sore wrist. And then whenever you hit the ball and it's weak, the ball's going to go flying in a different direction you don't want it to, so you want a nice strong wrist to send it back to where you want to hit it. So I also recommend when you hit it, some people, when I grew up, I used to always keep it flat, and then I would end up hitting the ball and it would go flying up. So what I've learned recently is keep the tennis racket angled kind of down, and then hit it over try to hit the top of the tennis ball. That way you create top spin, and then when the ball is flying, it goes over the net, but it doesn't go past the line. It goes over the net and it hits inside the court where you want to hit it with the top spin added. So a nice little drill I like to do when I'm by myself is hit it towards the fence, because you got no partner. And then if we're all beginners here, so I wouldn't recommend hitting it to each other just yet until we get more comfortable with each other and more comfortable with the ball. So you could have a partner too as well. So I have a tennis ball. I'll put this one in my pocket. I'll drop the tennis ball. And then I'll hit it. That was kind of low, but you get the idea. So we'll do it again. Drop the tennis ball and hit it. So try to pretend like there's a net over it, so you can try to hit it over the net, and then try to out of the top spin. So once it does get over the net, it's able to drop down and hit the court. Okay, so now we're gonna go over the backhand. So what the backhand is when you're standing and your opponent's in front of you, and they hit it to wherever you're now holding the racket. So I'm right-handed, so my backhand, let's say they hit it to my left side, I would try to backhand it. It's a little bit more of a difficult shot, but it's once you get good at it, it's gonna be really hard to beat you. So let's say you're left-handed and they hit it to your right side, your backhand, you would want to backhand it like that. So it's called the backhand because when you hit it, the back of your hand is showing to your opponent. So the drill is kind of similar to the forehand shot, so you just want to bounce it. My backhand's really bad because I'm not much of a tennis player, but so you want to bounce it and you hit it. I kind of let my wrist get weak, so the ball went flying instead of where I wanted to hit. So remember, keep the wrist nice and strong so you don't get injured. So I bounce it, and then I hit it, and that's the backhand. We're gonna go over how to serve the ball. So when you're on the right hash of the court and you serve, you want to serve it to the opposite side. If you want the ball to bounce in, you get one chance. Let's say you mess up your first opportunity, you get another chance to do it, and if you don't hit it the second time, then the opponent gets a point. So we're gonna go over the serve. So some cues I like to follow is, so you toss the ball up right, so you take a step, and it's like throwing a baseball, football. So you throw it, you want to keep the hand forward, so you look at the ball and you hit it, and then you just follow through. It's like similar to throwing a baseball or football, like I said. So we're gonna try to get it over the net, but inside the court on the opposite side. We'll do it one more time. last one was a little bit too hard, but the first two, kind of what you want. Maybe add a little bit more power, but for right now, for us being beginners, that was pretty good. So nice little game we could play with when we're split up in groups or with a partner or however, is just like how we were hitting the ball against the fence. You could have a group or your teammate or your classmate bounce the ball with a forehand shot, and you try to hit it over the net and keep it in bounds as well. And whoever hits it over the net and keeps it in bounds the most, like after like 5-6 tries or how many tennis balls you have, they win that match, and you can keep going. Just for right now, until we get better, get our reaction better, and get ready to play each other. But first, we want to be able to learn to actually keep the ball in bounds before we actually play a game. So we could do that, and then you could also practice the serves as well. 2 sides, like nobody on the other side. That's if we have like multiple people and we all want to get some work in. But for right now, it's just us by ourselves, so we could just keep hitting the ball to the fence. Kind of review what we learned today is we learned first our stance, a nice athletic stance, shoulder width apart, knees bent on the balls of our feet, ready to move right or left, ready to get the ball back where it came from. And then we're hitting, we want to keep that strong wrist for backhand and forehand. You want to keep the racket like at an angle, kind of angled facing down, so when you hit it, you get the nice little top spin over. If you hit it down, you hit it up, it's just gonna go over, just keep flying up. So you want to kind of hit it and give it a top spin so it go over the net and stay in bounds. Same thing with the backhand, so similar. And with our serve, remember, throw it, keep the eye on the ball when you're hitting it. You want to keep a strong wrist as well, always have a strong wrist. And it's like throwing a football, baseball, throw it, you go, and you follow through. Alright, so thank you for joining my lesson. Have a good day.